we bring on from NFL.com. It is the maestro of Micah Math on her revenge tour, I hope. Cynthia Frelund, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. You know, I'm glad you said that because I love your fan base. I'm being very serious when I say that. They're amazing, but they definitely came after me when I said I wasn't so sure. I wouldn't be so, and that's fun. Good. God forbid we're competitive in football. Oh my goodness, you know?
Yeah, and one of the reasons, Cynthia, I'll defend you to the bitter end on air, but I was not going to do it on Twitter because there's no way to win on Twitter. It's not a real place. So I was like, I'll just let her fight that battle if she wants to. But you did a great job, per usual, and you nailed it.
Hold on. You need to talk just a little bit more about her taking the high road. Because I would have started this segment by being like, F you, all you haters. I saw everything that you said. Guess what? I was right.
You have the floor.
I don't actually feel that. I'm like, look, I said what I thought, right? It's a lot easier to trade. To me, the argument was, you know, I believed it was a stronger rumor than in past seasons, and it's a lot easier to trade a guy with Micah's skill set late in the game. He fits anywhere very quickly. It's not going to take a lot to onboard him literally on any other team, whereas like a Dak or even a wide receiver, the chemistry, all those things take a little bit of time. So the leverage changes the closer to the season starting. But, you know, listen, I always love the competitive. Truly, I think it's funny. I mean, Twitter is wild, but like it's for the most part, like, you know, like I say things with measure. I'm very measured with what I say, so I'm here for it. You know.
When you broke that news, that was Kevin was out of town. He was in Germany teaching kids how to play baseball and about Jesus.
Fun.
That's true.
And so he was out of town at the time. But when you said that and kind of broke that news, obviously again there were people that were questioning it. Did you know at the time that it would be trade, or were you just thinking at the time, no, it's more likely he's just going to stay away from it? Because even the Cowboys at this point are like, we just started talking trade recently.
Yeah, I more was going off the fact, like some conversations I'd had, but really like I'm not taking some victory lap here. I just believed it was a stronger rumor than. You know, then I didn't know exactly how it would net out, but I believed that the chasm was strong, like it was a real chasm and not like one of these fake ones where like, yeah, okay, everything's fine once we put pen to paper and there's a whole bunch more zeros in my bank account. You know, it just felt like a different divide than in the past.
And it turned out to be, obviously.
Yeah. I'm still stunned, and I just didn't think that Jerry would actually go all of the way. You know, like I understand why there were the arguments. Just we're lifelong Metroplex people, and since obviously people brought up a million times the Herschel Walker trade, you have not really seen the Cowboys pull the trigger in terms of sending away a star player. So I had heard the rumors, I had heard your reports, and I was like, man, I hear you. I just can't see him doing it. And so that press conference yesterday for me, even after we knew the news, it was kind of surreal, and not just because he kept calling him Micah Parsons.
Listen, I love the shade, but ultimately, like, there's two things here. Number one, can we get a little love for Kenny Clark? I feel like everyone's like, this whole thing is over. Kenny Clark is a really good player. It has been an Achilles heel of the Cowboys to stop the run. At least they're trying to solve for, like, let's just call some positive things. Poor Kenny Clark is on the other side of this trade, and it really has nothing to do with it. He's a great player. Like, I want to give him a little bit of his flowers, because go watch his film, watch it all the way back from like UCLA or wherever. So he's a great player. So that's the first thing. And the second thing,
can we stop on that for just a second? Since you love the numbers and everything, I'm really glad that you brought that up. The Packers are shouldering a lot of the cost of that. So the fact that not only is he a good player, he only counts against the Cowboys cap like $2.3 million this year, and then none of the rest of his deal is guaranteed. So just from like a dollars and cents point of view, I really like the flexibility here as well.
Absolutely. Look, the cap is hard to navigate because that's what makes our sport so amazing. That's why we have part of the reason parity and the cap are the reason why we have teams go from worst to first in their division every single season. And the fact that it hasn't been a repeat winner in a Cowboys division since the 03-04 season, which is like a really long time now. So,
Yes.
like the point is, getting your cap right and resetting it. They've paid a lot of players. Everyone does cap a little bit different. It's voidable years, all these things to kind of amortize things into the future. This is where the Cowboys have to sort of reset. You can't pay everyone all of the time. And if they're making this decision that it wasn't going to work with Micah long term, to give him the deal, even though they didn't have to do it this year, but to give him the deal that he wanted going forward to be happy, I think it was smart to get a player of Kenny Clark's, like, I get it. When you play on the inside, it just never looks as splashy as when you play on the outside. But Kenny Clark is really good, guys. Like, I don't know. I feel like poor Kenny's getting like the shady side of this deal. And I'm like, keep his name out of your mouth. It's not him at all that had anything to do with this.
I watched him a little last night, looked at some numbers, especially understanding Eberflus played against him for 3 years, so the defensive coordinator knows who the guy is and probably had some voice in that as well. Before I get to more Kenny Clark conversation, though, is that a coffee mug or a soup bowl that you have there? That is a giant mug.
This is called what happens when you have to like redo all of your projections and numbers because of Micah Parsons later in the day. I'd like to have the weekend. This is, it's our last weekend without NFL football. I just want to be a fan of college football, so I wanted to get all my work done before that. So I just got to wake up, I got to wake up.
I get it.
Do you also blur out the background so Corey can't stalk your house or your apartment? Because he might.
I would never do that.
I blur out the background because there's a giant carrot. My dogs love this giant carrot. And everyone's always like, what is that carrot over his shoulder? Like, we have to keep it high. It's the loudest toy ever created for dogs. So most of the time it's the giant carrot's fault.
Well, I mean, obviously I was looking in Kelsey and Taylor's background, trying to figure out the Easter eggs they had there. So I was looking at the Cowboys' rush numbers last year, and they were fourth worst in yards. They gave up about 4.8, almost 5 yards a carry, 25 touchdowns, the most touchdowns they'd ever given up in team history, and the most last year as well. We know the pass rush numbers when Mike is on the field, they're very good. But Jerry talked about balancing that out. When your pass rush isn't effective enough to keep them from running the ball, then you have to stop the run. Do you see where the balance, the figures kind of come together? Because somebody asked, they were like, isn't it kind of if you go 18th to 20th in stopping the run, doesn't this make this a good trade? Where's that balance come with? What do you think the pass rush and rush numbers will be for the Cowboys in the future here?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's gonna be the best season for the Cowboys defense. Like I didn't think it was gonna be the best season for the Cowboys defense prior to Micah being there. Yeah, no, it looks a little different, but I think that it's not gonna also be as doom and gloom. Like I think the pendulum swung too far. Like before, people were like, "Oh, it's gonna be really like very good as long as Micah comes back, whatever." And now I'm like, your secondary is still very banged up. Like that's gonna that really changes the pass rush, and it makes the run defense more valuable if you can't stop them. Anyway, so I didn't think it was going to be the most stellar season of the Dallas defense to begin with, but I also don't think it's as doom and gloom as everyone is kind of making it out to be. Sure, you do have to make the picks that are associated with this trade, and they have to turn into good players. Sure, we won't know who won the trade, blah, 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 for years. We get it. But ultimately, if you make the decision, get enough value in return. And I think that is a point where it's possible that the return, if the picks turn into good players, longer term, it could be quite different. But I think this year, maybe, I don't expect huge strides in the defense, but also don't expect it to be like so doom and gloom that you're not going to get anything good. I think it's going to be not great, but not insane.
Yeah, and that's I think a lot of people are, the Luka trade, they feel like we got fleeced with that and everything. So they're like, they feel like they got fleeced again. Do you feel like the 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark as a combination package is a good deal here? Because we do. I think we do.
Yeah, I mean, again, sure. Like, I like the look. If you're not going to if you're not going to find a marriage that works with the player, get the biggest return on investment, and this is a great return on investment if it's not going to work out. Of course, it's always hard when you already know the player that you picked, Micah Parsons, has like a 19% pressure rate, which leads the league. Like, we get it. Like, he's good. But the reality is if you can't get to a place where that's going to be cohesive and work out, then get the future value and kind of see where it falls. So I think it will ultimately be okay. I just don't necessarily think, like, if I'm in that locker room today, I'm like, okay, we got the Eagles in a week, or less than a week. Yeah. Like, that doesn't seem fun. I don't think the Eagles seemed fun before that, but now.
Yeah. So I think I'm with you in terms of, but what you were just saying just a second ago is, like, even before this trade, it didn't look like the Cowboys, whether it's defensively or the team as a whole, were going to be world beaters. And so I like the deal just because I don't think you were, like, going to make a run at the Super Bowl this year or anything like that. You were going to fight to maybe get the right to be the road team that loses in the wild card game, And so for me, I'm like, if you have an asset and you can start to build, whether that means you're looking at a quarterback for trade in the draft in future years or whatever, that's why I like the deal, is because I'm an assets person. And I'm like, you weren't going to win this year. I have questions about next year, so why not just build up some assets?
It's just never fun in the short term to be feeling like you're playing with one arm behind your back, right? Like nobody wants to feel like that, but it is very hard to both reset, especially if your cap's a little this modern cap dynamics have changed, right? So they need to modernize it. It doesn't appear from the outside. I don't have all of the full, information about but based on what we can piece together as outsiders, I don't think they need to get to this modern way of doing cap. And you don't do it even the Eagles, who are very good at it, they had to take their lumps, figure out the Carson Wentz redeal after all of that. You have to take your lumps, and in a couple of years, it will look a little bit different, but it is never fun during those couple of years to be like, hey, are we trying to win, or are we rebuilding, or what are we doing? That just doesn't feel good.
Do you like, at least, though, that the Cowboys broke our heart now as opposed to the Lions breaking your heart in the divisional round or the NFC Championship game?
Let's talk about actually the second half of the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know anything about the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, we don't know. We haven't been there in a while.
I mean, at least you guys have these rings that go on fingers that are really big. Lions fans don't have that. But ultimately, I think it's if you're going to do it, then do it when you get the most value. You weren't going to get this type of value for Micah in several months. So might as well optimize for when the leverage is the highest for you. Like you said, they're paying for Kenny Clark. He's basically, I don't know, $2.3 million. What is that, like a fullback?
Yeah.
Not to be I love a fullback, let me be clear, but they can be inexpensive. They're inexpensive players relative to some of the other ones. So point being is, might as well go, and if you're going to do it, get the most return on your investment. I don't think it's that, I don't think it's as crazy as some of the, these grades that we give. D, A, F, I don't think it's as simple as that, right? And you also have to remember chemistry matters. You also have to remember, the owner matters. Every owner's different. I've watched the Netflix thing. I get it. This doesn't feel. I know Irv very well. He was the officiant of my wedding. I get it.
Wow.
These are things that. Yeah, that was the most amazing. Yeah, I just dropped that in there. But I'm a fan of being who you are, and no team is who they are more than the Cowboys. So it might not be the sexiest move for the Super Bowl this year, but it's okay. It's gonna be all right.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Actually, that's my name on Zoom right now. Things will be okay.
Yeah.
So, I think we're still on. You're still on mute.
Oh, okay.
If I can springboard off of the wedding
I think
mention.
You're still on mute. Oh, there we go.
Okay, there we go. All right. So I have a football adjacent question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got married on July 4th, 2026, they could steal all of the thunder away from the United States' 250th birthday?
A good bit of it.
That's what I think, too.
Always a lot of things to celebrate. Why not celebrate more?
That's true.
I actually have a football-related question.
That was kind of football.
I selected Saquon Barkley, Chase Brown, and Travion Henderson in my first 6 picks. Did I do okay at running back? Am I going to be all right there this year?
I mean, I'm curious to see what the rest of your team looks like, because if
I
you're
got
picking
Baker.
those guys so early,
I'll
things
text
could
it
go
to
bad.
you.
Well, we appreciate your insight very, very much. And at some point, if you want to show us the giant dog toy, I'm sure Corey would be stoked
Hold on, I'll
about
grab
that.
it for you.
Oh, it's going to happen, baby, right
here we
now,
go. It's
Corey.
a giant carrot.
Holy crap,
What a
that is
cool
the biggest carrot I've ever seen.
I had a pickle like that for my dog for a while. It was
It's the
gigantic.
largest toy known to, but it's also so, oh no, that's coming now.
We're going to have to mark that.
It's so incredibly loud that it rings. My neighbors can hear it. It's insane. So, but they love it, so I can't throw it away.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for always having fun with us and also giving us the great football insight. We appreciate you as always.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the first, the last weekend without NFL football for a little while.
Okay, I'm sorry. One more thing. Speaking of when NFL football comes back, when can everybody see you? Can we get you on the pregame shows and everything? When can we find more of your content?
Oh, yeah, we got pregame shows galore. We have one Tuesday this week, and then, of course, game day morning. The full game day morning is back in full effect on Sunday. I also have, my YouTube channel, which is Numbers Game, and then I have a new pod. There should be there will be a very large, very, very, very good Cowboys player on there coming up soon. Former Cowboys player, unfortunately, because retirement hits us all. But you're gonna like that. It's basically a whole pod on numbers versus how players kind of feel the impact of analytics. So it's man versus machine. So it'll be great.
Ooh, all right.
Good
So
concept.
new podcast with Tyron Smith is what I'm hearing. Is my
Move
guess.
over a couple of spots.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I got ideas.
Okay.
We got ideas.
Thank you again, as always.
Well,
we appreciate
he's
you.
a guest. He'll be a recurring guest, and
Okay.
I love it.
I
Thank
just want him
you.
on all the time, so I'm just but we do have the normal co-host will be Logan Ryan, so he's won 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots, so and then we'll have some additional guests. One big Cowboy though, just to get definite Hall of Famers, just like Tyron. Maybe Tyron will come on.
Zach Martin.
It's Zach Martin.
Look
We can't
forward
wait
to
to
Zach
see
Martin
Zach Martin
with Cynthia Frelund. Thank you very, very much for the time. We'll see you later.
Bye, Cynthia.